Hi, I'm Mike Branzone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's something special. 1 year ago today, we lost Rush Limbaugh, the greatest broadcaster of all time, and the greatest conservative of all time. Talk radio would not be what it is today uh, without Rush Limbaugh. And VoxNews.com had a great article today. It was written by Diane Allocco. I'm going to share a link to that article as well. But I want to go through this article today and share some. She's made some wonderful points. Here's the title of the article: 1 year without Rush Limbaugh, 5 lessons he left us on how to handle the left. It's an opinion piece, but I want to sift through this article today and kind of bring out some make my own comments, but also bring out some main points that she brings that are just absolutely great. And it's so important for us today to, especially the days that we're living in, and we all ask the question, what would Rush Limbaugh do? What would he say? Well, she deals with these, and we're going to pull over and park on these 5 lessons that she shares with us. 5 lessons that we can take away on how to handle the left today. So let's go ahead and begin at the very beginning of and I've got to read the first couple of 3 paragraphs because it really kind of sets the mood for us. She says this: it doesn't seem possible that we've weathered an entire year since that bleak day last February 17th, when at 12:06 p.m. Eastern, the inevitable yet shocking announcement was broadcast to the world: Rush Limbaugh has passed away. The radio titan, having lived his 70 to the absolute fullest, returned his borrowed talent to God. It was a devastating gut punch to us, his, quote, highly rated staff, is what the media said, right? And to his vast listening audience. Our beloved friend would no longer be providing his brilliant, inspiring, often hilarious, daily clarity and reassurance we had all come to cherish over more than 3 decades. She writes, when Rush Limbaugh was ensconced in his Attila the Hun chair behind the golden EIB microphone, all seemed ultra, she has that in parentheses, ultra right with the world, which is why we ditto heads have dearly missed that glorious voice ever since. Of this I'm sure, whenever news hits, millions wonder, what would Rush say? I've asked myself that question many times. So what she does, she goes on in the article, and she brings back one example, because what Rush Limbaugh did, and she says it here, he used what was called rhetorical jitsu. He grabbed the weapon, wielded himself, and he basically turned turned things on his head by using jujitsu. So you got to read the detailed article, because she talks about Bill Clinton. He was complaining about Rush. He says, when I get off, he's on Air Force One. He says, when I get off the radio with you, Rush Limbaugh will have 3 hours to say whatever he wants. He says, I won't have the opportunity to respond, and there's no truth detector. You don't get on afterwards and say what is true and what wasn't. Well, Rush Limbaugh heard that. He says, what do you mean no truth detector? In big letters, I am the truth detector. See, he would take things like that and use the jujitsu, the rhetorical jujitsu, and turn it on his head. And he obviously was. So let's go ahead and let's get down. There are 5 lessons that she writes that she believes, and I think she's really on target here. 5 lessons that she writes. What would Rush Limbaugh do today? What would he say today in dealing with the left? All right. The first one is this: know your enemy. Rush's core mission, besides attracting an immense audience so he could charge confiscatory advertising rates, 30 million plus people, all right? His core mission was to give his listeners an ideological understanding of our political opponents on the left. The left's handbook has never, ever changed. Remember, what they did to him, what they did back then, they're doing the same thing today. Page 1 of Leftism 101. Silence dissent. Everywhere and always, the left has no interest in engaging in the arena of ideas. And boy, that is so evident today. They don't care about ideas. They want to bully, they want to cancel culture, and probably Rush Limbaugh was probably the very first one that they really begin to the beginnings of cancel culture. She writes, liberals despise the very notion of political opposition, that we have time and space in the United States of America to say whatever we want. As Bill Clinton put in his 1994, ticks them off to no end. Freedom is their greatest nemesis. Control of speech is the means to all their ends, accruing power. So what Rush Limbaugh said today is understand and know your enemy. Know where they're coming from. And there's an ideological war. And I wish the Republicans were better at explaining conservatism. Rush Limbaugh was the master at explaining what a conservative is and what it means to have freedom. Got to go back and listen to some of his old radio shows. Number 2, the second lesson we learn in dealing with the left from Rush Limbaugh: reject the premise. Leftist accusation and attacks are based on unstated premises. You are the problem, conservatives are the problem, and America is the problem. Learn to instantly and instinctively, she said, turn the tables as Rush did. Leftists used to call Rush dangerous. The unstated premise was that being dangerous to liberalism was bad. They expected the accusation would put Rush on the defense. But what he did was embrace it, all right? He says here, he embraced that he was indeed a threat to their dominance. And he says this, they call me the most dangerous man in America. Know why? Because I am. Liberals demanded that radio stations, carrying Rush be required to remember this, big hullabaloo. They wanted radio stations to require Rush to provide equal time to ensure balance to his supposedly unsafe words, which Rush correctly responded, I am equal time. By the way, none of it happened. Couldn't close him down, couldn't get rid of him. He just grew. Number 3, she writes, use your power. The left may appear invincible, but it exerts control based on a currency of deception, manipulation, corrupt bargains. And let me also add my own words, fear. The power we have, she writes, is unassailable and it is built on invisible things: truth, joy, common sense, humor, love, gratitude, faith. These qualities answer to a higher authority, and the left has no counter to them. Never forget, we are the many. Rush connected us. Let me stop right here. There are more of us than there are of them. There are more loving, peace-loving, patriotic Americans than there are of those radical, crazy, progressive, Marxist leftists. Rush connected us, she writes. His most important bequest to us, and we will never again believe the lie that we are weak, scattered, powerless, and fringe. They are the few, flexing our strengths, especially the power of truth, drives them into hysteria. Don't ever forget, you are not weak. You are not powerless. You're not on the fringe. They want to gaslight us. They are the few. We are the strong. But you have to stand up and you have to exert truth. Number 4, have no fear. Leftists are bullies who are terrified of fearless, cheerful people who know they're right. Great example of that is what's going on right now at the Canadian truckers and that convoy. You can see the left is scared. That's why they're overreacting. Some of them are even already backing down. Leftists are bullies who are terrified of fearless, cheerful people who know they're right. Those who, like Rush Limbaugh, truly grasp the pathetic nature of leftism exude confidence, even glee. Never ever, she says, buy into the temptation to despair that a situation is hopeless. It's one thing about Rush, always brought out. There's always hope. If you're alive, if you're breathing, there's always hope. And this is the left's most oft-used deception, wanting you to preemptively surrender without a fight. And she puts there in parentheses, hello, Republicans. You see, if you're a Republican leader and you're listening to this right now, one of the greatest things, the two greatest things you can have is principles and courage. You have to speak up. You have to stand up. You can't let them bully you into surrender. And if you care more about whether the media writes good about you, you're a fool. Because the media will play you like they did with John McCain. Then if you disagree with them, they'll come right back at you. You can't win the media's favor. And that's our problem with Republicans. They always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. You have to stand. She writes, optimism is an intellectual choice, and good cheer is the blessing that follows. Happy warriors never surrender. I got to say that again. Happy warriors never surrender. That was number 4, and that was have no fear. And number 5, stay on offense. Be relentless, because it has no moral foundation. The left's power is ephemeral, all right? It's just out there, floating. When fought, it would deflate like a souffle and come crashing down like the Berlin Wall. Follow Russia's model and laugh at them every day. In the same way, Rush was the most dangerous man in America. Embrace the truth that we are the most dangerous people in America to the left. They may at the moment control the institution, the levers of power, but much of the media, all right, and even much of the media, but we have them surrounded and they know it. What a great article. Boy, that last part really, I think it's amazing. We are dangerous to them because we have the truth. So remember, I'll put these things there on the underneath this video. The 5 lessons she writes that Rush teaches us. Know your enemy. Reject the premise, all right? Which means that you are the problem. Conservative are the problem. American, no, we're not the problem. They are. Number 3, use your power, all right? They're not invincible. You and I, this is a republic. We have the power. We have love, joy, common sense, humor, love, gratitude, and faith. All right? Have no fear. Remember, they're bullies. And something about bullies, if you stand up to bullies, they will back down. Be fearless. Filled with joy. Courageous, but fearless. And number 5, Rush would say this. Stay on the offense. Never give up. Be relentless. Understand that their power is temporary. It's a paper tiger. It's a balloon with hot air in it. Rush's model was this. Speak the truth every day and laugh at them every day. All right. Thank you so much. I'll make sure I put the links here at the bottom. I want to put a little, these 5 lessons that we learned from Rush Limbaugh. Yeah, we miss Rush Limbaugh. 1 year ago today, February 17th, we lost the greatest. All right. Hey, God bless you. We'll see you next time. Thanks.